familiar with this shindig, this is a weekly beer show that we do every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, just like we did last week.
Yep.
And we'll do it again next week.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was not here last week. Did you guys?
I wasn't sure if I was here last week, but I do remember now I was here.
I forgot about that already, actually, Phil. I apologize. Yeah, Phil wasn't here last week.
But I wasn't here the week before.
It's been a lot of back and forth.
I don't know. It's fine.
It's been fine. A lot of back and forth. Dave, this checks out heavily. Crystal Malt is my OnlyFans name.
This whole show is for Dave.
Yeah. I feel like as soon as we decided we were going to do Crystal Malt, I was like, oh, I can't wait for the chat.
Again, if you aren't logged into YouTube or Facebook, you should do that so you can join the chat.
Correct. We do stream this here through Facebook and YouTube. Obviously, you can also find it streaming through Instagram as well. Speaking of social medias, you can see all of ours down there at the bottom of the page. Make sure you follow along with us. That's where we have a lot of individual beers, not necessarily always together, obviously. Go to the website. It's up there at the top, wishyouwerebeershow.com.
Our Wi-Fi is not good.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think we're doing fine.
I don't know. It just worried me.
Don't worry. I don't think anyone can see that bar on the screen.
I don't know.
I think it's just us.
This might be one of those episodes.
Okay.
It's starting like one for sure.
Yeah, it's starting like it's tanking heavy. So if you go to the wishyouwerebeershow.com, you can find our merch store. If you want to support the show, that's one of the easiest ways to do it. Buy a t-shirt, buy us a beer, hang out there with us as well. But we do this every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. New subjects, new beers, new topics every week. So
same people.
It's same people, unfortunately.
Sometimes.
If you know anyone that likes beer or would enjoy talking about beer with us, make sure you pass this along as well.
Yes.
We are going to be playing trivia tonight. So as always, if you're familiar, go to kahoot.it or download the Kahoot app. We'll be rolling our game pen throughout the intro and front part of this show. So you can go ahead, get ready, make a team name.
Pick your name.
Yeah. Baby is already taken.
The team name is more important than winning at this point.
It really is.
Yeah, because there's no prize.
The more clever, the better, because then we can talk about it multiple times throughout trivia, and it's way fun.
Correct. Oh, Gabriel's started using Babbel. He says, hola. As always, I'm Daniel. This is Tiffany. That beautiful bearded man is Phil, who you may have missed last week. So, Phil, you're obviously...
Apparently you didn't, Daniel. You didn't even know I was in here.
Honestly, I blacked out.
I'm sure you did, having Logan on. Jeez.
That's true.
That was last week.
Yeah, that was last week.
I forgot.
Yeah.
So, Phil, you made it back to New York City based off Instagram, correct?
Correct. I have moved back into the States. So I'm no longer in the Caribbean, which means I have access to beer.
Oh God, you're gonna drink so much beer.
I know. Today I got off the subway and went right to a place to get beer. That was the first thing I did. And I had a lovely beer called Blood of the Gods.
Okay.
That's a way to start. This way.
Yeah. Go big or go home.
Real Percy Jackson of you.
Yeah. So happy to be back where there's beer. Tonight I'm drinking the Tripping Animals.
Oh, look at you.
Is that the Nomamis or the?
This is the Johann Wolf.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm drinking the Prison Pals that we had on the show like a month ago.
A year ago at this point.
I don't know. I was traveling. I'm thinking. I don't know. I was gone. I found it and I was like, oh, I haven't had this. It's pink. I love it.
Oh, I get this one's in collaboration with the Johann Wolf eyewear.
Yes.
Hence the Chihuahua wearing glasses.
So, this checks out now. Actually, with Tripping Animals, I'm never 100% sure. I don't really read into it too far. I'm like, yeah, of course they put glasses on a Chihuahua. That fits their brand 100%.
It absolutely does. And this was the place I got the beer today, in this craft and carry cup here on the
nice. Did they give you a cup because they know the show? They follow it, so they were like,
That's
"Oh,
what
please."
it was. They were like, "Oh my gosh, it's Phil from the Wish You Were Beer show." That's what they said when I walked in. It's
I
crazy.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, "You're normally in the Caribbean. You should take a glass. Use it on the
"You should
show."
get out. You are not welcome here.
Unless you're purchasing products, in
Correct.
which case we will take your money.
Correct.
Checks out. Checks out.
Well, now that we are all drinking a beer, which is what I prefer to do on this show,
It is the goal.
it is the goal. We can get into a little section that we do every week pertaining to beer news. I love that intro.
It is such a good clip. It might be my favorite.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites for sure. This is a portion of the show we do every week where we try to pull something from the headlines of the beer world or somewhat beer adjacent. This week it's 2% beer adjacent. Let's not kid ourselves. Jason Momoa, who you may
Love him.
know as a character that plays in films, I believe. I'm not familiar with him.
Okay. I've seen your posters.
So he recently found out that he was 2% Irish through doing some DNA stuff and family tracking. So he's always been a big Guinness fan. So his production company that he owns shot a commercial for Guinness of him finding out somewhere that he's 2% Irish and then running and like a big action cut to his closest Irish bar to tell everyone that he's Irish. And he's got the paperwork with him, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you're only 2%." And they're like, "That's all you need." And then they toss back a bunch of Guinness and stuff. But I thought it was interesting. It would be nice to have the kind of money where, like, man, I really like Guinness. I'm going to go shoot a commercial for them, and like they'll be on board with it, and I'll direct it, and I'll do this and this.
Well, this is our shot to tell Jason Momoa that if you're watching, which I'm sure you are, I'd be more than happy to participate in a commercial.
Yeah, he can do a commercial for the Wish You Were Beer show. I mean,
oh my God, would you imagine?
Or anything, really.
And I'm 2% his body mass, so we can celebrate that.
I was not expecting that. That was very clever.
But if you do go to the PR Newswire, which is where I found the story that Phil's got up on the screen there,
they have it.
The commercial's actually pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty well shot. It's a little bit funny. It was decent.
I don't know if we have the rights to air it.
No.
I don't believe we do.
I don't think so.
I mean, if Jason Momoa wants to send me a cease and desist, that's fine.
He's gonna have to put his number on there.
Yeah, exactly. Or his personal address. Good luck, dummy.
Yeah. I am not a stalker. I just feel like I should throw this out as like a blanket statement. I'm happily married.
Checks out.
But
you're married.
I'd give him a high five.
I'd give him a low five. Catching my drift.
Because you're 2%.
Because he's taller than me. I love it. And yes, absolutely. We will be sending Jason a friendship bracelet.
Oh, man. I can knit him a scarf.
Oh, God, I love it.
I knit my
I don't think you have enough yarn.
Teacher a scarf.
So again, every week we try to pull a story. Sometimes they're really simple. Sometimes they're a little more convoluted in the beer world, or another beer going under, or a brand that's in trouble for probably sexualizing something. These are the common news stories in the beer world.
We've done multiples of all of these actually, so that's cool. Yeah.
So again, we are going to be playing trivia tonight. So if you haven't already, does everyone speak Spanish now?
Yeah, man. There is a discount on Babbel or Duolingo.
We have a discount code. It's Wish You Were Beer Show is the discount code for Babbel.
Correct.
Try it. It might or might not work.
It might or might not work.
They sponsored the first half of the show. You know?
Correct. I didn't understand any of it though, because I haven't used the discount code yet. We're going to be playing trivia here shortly. So if you haven't had a chance to yet, go to Kahoot.it, type in the game pen code, or if you have the Kahoot app as well, you can put it in the pen there. make your team name. We'll be going through trivia, so you'll have a chance to answer the questions. If you don't have a chance to get in through Kahoot, you can always throw your guesses up in the comments section as well. But Kahoot is definitely the easiest way to make that happen.
It's way more fun.
It is way more fun. So try that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't see baby yet, but
it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like every time we go to start the Kahoot app, like no one's there, and then all of a sudden like 8 names populate somewhere, and I'm like, what the hell took that so long?
Yeah. So hurry up, man.
Do we get a kickback from Kahoot at all, or are we just throwing this shit out there for free?
Just for free.
Oh no, they sponsored the second half of the show.
Well, usually they'd actually charge us.
Technically, we're not even allowed to use it.
But
But, you know,
so low on the radar, though. It doesn't matter.
one day
No one knows.
figure it out, I'm sure.
True story.
Yeah. The Kahoot CEO is a big fan though, so any day now.
He watches all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big beer drinker.
Or she.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I didn't Google this.
Speaking of she, don't forget tomorrow is International Women's Day. So if you have a foreign lady in your life, no? Is that not how it works? It's all
just,
women?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just
51% of the world.
Okay. See, I was thinking it was just
but you know, not when it comes to medical testing or anything like that. It's not included.
Super glad we cleared this up because I was going to be awkward tomorrow.
Yeah.
Phil, did you know that? So I'm the only one.
Yeah. Just wow. You.
I mean, I knew.
This is news to me.
Yeah, I bet you Jason Momoa knows.
We should call him and ask him.
I don't think so.
He'll probably shoot a commercial for it.
I'm glad we went and shoot a commercial. But... Exactly, Vero. You are the foreign woman in all our lives. But yeah, that's not how it works. I heard it.
But you are included in International Women's Day.
I guess. Because internationally, she is a woman.
I
still don't understand how this works. Yeah. Why don't we just say Women's Day?
Because we can't just be like, oh, it's just America, because it's all women.
But women are everywhere. So by saying Women's Day, it's understood that it's in
That's a magazine.
World Women's Day.
Isn't that a thing? Isn't that a magazine?
I don't know.
I think Women's Day is a magazine.
I'm sure
it's like there's a weird. It was like at my grandma's house. Women, I don't know. I'll figure that out later.
What are we talking about tonight? Are we doing something tonight, or are we just hanging out?
Yeah, we're just hanging out, drinking beer.
Do you remember the first time you found a Sears catalog that had an underwear section? I think that's where we were going with the women's magazine. I could be way off.
Yeah, but that is not the concept for today's show.
Today on the show, so if you follow us last month, we did kind of a more specific look at some hop varieties and some specific hops. So this month we decided to focus in a little more on actual malts and different variations of that and what it means within the beer world. So tonight we are going to be focusing on Crystal Malt. Yeah. Not that.
She's a dancer.
Yeah. So we're gonna be looking into Crystal Malts, and with this being the first malt of the month of the shows that we're going to be focusing on malts, I do have some base level malt questions in there that aren't Crystal Malt specific, but probably next week and the following weeks will be much more specific to the malt that we're doing on the show.
So steady up, my friends.
Yeah, don't swear at me when you're like, oh, only 2 questions about Crystal Malt. I thought we were. I'm mainly talking about you.
I did not. Nope. I did not say any of these things.
I know. So again, we're getting ready to get started on trivia. So if you haven't already, go to Kahoot app, put in our game pin code, which is right there on the bottom of the screen. And then I say, let's do trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a button for that.
That's not even the trivia one, right?
It's
That's
so loud. I love it.
thought we had a trivia.
I mean, we're talking about the history of malts here, so it's more of a history of facts.
Correct. I'm with you on this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, figuring out when it's trivia and when it's history and facts is very challenging. But I figured,
Yeah, especially with the trivia questions, they really can be all over the place. And I don't think that's any one person's fault that's in this screen.
so everyone knows, you can make the names of your team whatever you want, appropriate
Obviously,
or not.
there's currently G Hole and Malt Not Meth. These are both good names thus far. But again, you still have time to join as well. You can join anytime throughout the game while we're playing as well. The pen is up there at the top. Just remember with Kahoot, it's not only about getting the right answer, but also how quickly you get the correct answer. So being fast is good in this situation.
But being right is also good.
I mean, you got to be right.
You got to be right.
I'm normally fast and right. That's
Correct.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes.
You didn't specify. So.
Fast and wrong.
Fast and wrong. That's a good trivia name to begin with, by the way. All right. Well, I say let's do it. Everybody can join in.
1-on-1. G-hole versus Malt Not Meth.
It's ridiculous.
I don't think it's that ridiculous. I am the one who brews. I love it. All right. So what do malts provide in the beer making process? Enzymes or starch for alcohol production, color, proteins, or all of the above?
I got some protein.
We got to stop talking about Jason Momoa. All right. So yes, that is the correct answer. All of the above. So obviously the enzymes and starch to produce the alcohol come from the malts themselves. They do have protein factors in them as well as color agents. There's probably about 3 other things that malts do consistently with the beer. I mean, more than that when you really think about it. But it is all of the above. Malt is... Without malt, beer doesn't really happen.
It's the backbone of the beer.
Yeah. I like that statement.
Yeah.
So do all beers have to have malt?
In theory, there are ways around this.
I mean, they have to have the grains, which are the malts.
Is it?
I don't know. I think so. I don't know.
You're
I was
questioning
drinking
yourself.
beer. I am. I immediately had imposter syndrome.
I know.
And now I'm not so sure.
What?
Yeah.
So, at the end of the
Story
day,
of my life.
I'm making a show rule
Yeah.
right now. Don't ask me questions about the question.
I don't think that's how this works.
Just don't ask any further questions.
There shall be no looking into the validity of any of these statements.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, my guy.
Well, one got it right and one got it wrong. Let's find out.
I love this 50-50 crapshoot here.
Malt, not
G-hole
meth.
takes the lead.
Malt, not meth is meth dot malt.
It would have. If I would have tried to say that, it would have come out so wrong. Like that's not all. So
Well,
thank you,
Here I am.
because
I'm glad I
Sally sells. All right,
crushing and mashing of malt is what step in the beer making process. The first, second, third, or fourth step. It's fine. I could say the.
I'm gonna
malt
read the
dot meth and
questions.
meth dot
Yeah,
malt,
that was
but
rough.
Mashing. Nope, not so
Nope,
much.
Not a chance.
It's fine.
I think it's the 5th step.
You'd be
No,
surprised.
2 wrongs make a right.
Now, granted, there's going to be some internet opinions on this because technically you got to make a recipe for said beer first. You would have to purchase said malt, grains, hops, yeast. So I'm talking about the actual beer process, making
Brewing.
a physical beer.
So,
This
like, the
is-
first step is this malt
Yep.
setting. So,
So
what
you're-
about?
You
But
gotta
we don't know if there is malt in all beers because
grinder.
it doesn't exist.
There's malt and all beers, Phil. Read a goddamn. We have a fucking beer show. No. What about germinating? Of course, yes.
Yeah, I did that earlier.
That gross. Well, you are in New York. So obviously, when you're making a beer, you do have to mash or crush up the actual malt grain profiles. They go in a big grinder or hopper, get fed over to said mash tun where they get mixed with liquid that produces alcohol.
Well, it produces the sugar water.
I know.
Which then ferments.
What's that called?
What's that? The wort. I was like, I know this. Wait, give me a second. Look at this. Imposter syndrome's going away slowly but surely.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask any questions anymore, but I've got a bunch.
I'm ready for you.
So when you make a malt drink that's not beer, is that just not incorporating hops into it?
You're thinking of like a malt liquor?
A malt liquor, or even those like crappy drinks that always say malt beverage.
Correct. Yeah. So there's no hop variation in that. And then they're actually produced differently to begin with anyway. When you're talking about a liquor drink or something like that, you're not going to bring your temperatures to the same level. They don't have to sit for the same amounts of time. They're still going to ferment, obviously, but it's not done with hops and other things. You can do it with different flavors and different,
But it's the same malt in the beginning.
Not the same malt. There's a billion different malts. But yeah, the malt product itself, correct. Yes.
All right. Fascinating.
Beautiful.
Question 3 coming up.
If you want to know anything about malt liquor, you just send me an email, bro. I got you on that one.
Daniel 40 hands.
Mad Dog 40.
That's what they call them.
40, 20, 80. All right. True or false? Crystal malts are produced when sprouted barley is dried in a kiln.
RR.
I know. Yeah, that's my bad.
I think it was on purpose.
Probably.
When you're talking about crystal malts.
Yeah. This again, people that make beer are going to argue with me on this, but I'm just telling you the facts. Okay, guys. So
professionals all say this is true, but correct. Daniel says false.
False. And I've done minutes of research on the topic. So there is some variation on how malts or crystal malts specifically are made. So sprouted barley obviously is what actually makes the product eventually. Obviously. I mean, do you even drink beer? Do you even know how this shit works? So, but there is a variation of drying some of these products. You can do it in what they consider to be like a roaster, almost like how you would dry coffee beans. So it's a different temperature variation. They're agitated a little bit differently, or you can dry them in a kiln as well. Kiln drying is typically done for malt variations. So you're not going to get as pure of a product as a crystal malt. You're going to get a mixed bag of a certain percentage of them will finally be crystal malt or what they designate as crystal malt, but you'll get some varying degrees of that within that mixed malt bag or malt.
Sounds like it's a dangerous thing to brew with.
No, it's a great thing to brew with. Mad Dog. No. Okay. But so technically 100% crystal malt is historically done in a roaster or a barrel as opposed to being dried in a kiln. The kiln drying process doesn't give you the exact variations that you're looking for on what they consider to be a crystal malt.
It doesn't crystallize.
There is a portion of that because crystal malts are extremely glassy with the way that it holds on to it. And that part of that process is because when you're drying it in one of those roasters and heating it up, it actually takes a lot of that, the material that you want out of it and holds on to it in the center of it. So you get a really glassy material on the outside, as opposed to when you think about like a grain or something that's just kind of that yellowy, whatever. These really do have like a crystal or almost clear sheen to the outside of them. Most of that comes from the fact they're dried in a barrel instead of in a kiln, because you can be way more specific with the temperatures and how much of it actually achieves that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Read a book.
Yeah.
So no one got that right?
Nope.
No.
I feel a lot of arguing coming my way soon.
Could be anyone's game.
Anyone's game. All right. So the Lovibond scale or the L scale is used in brewing to determine what? Final gravity, malt density, clarity, or color?
Ooh, I haven't stepped on a Lovibond scale in a while.
God, you don't want to. Because wait till you see what color you are. Oh, see what I did there? All right. Yeah, so this is actually a weird process of how they determine a color of a beer or the gradient of the color. So it comes in basically like a temperature degree next to the number on the Lovibond scale. So when you're looking at a 12-degree Czech lager, that has to do with the color of the beer, is what that 12 degrees stands for. So there's a way to test that. It's a little small thing that you're actually looking through, and it has the scale on it when you get your beer all finished. I had no idea that it had a name. I always assume things have a name, but I'm always like, oh yeah, Lovibond scale, the L scale.
Not the L train.
Correct.
Named after General Lovibond, I believe.
Correct.
Sir Lovibond.
Sir Lovibond.
He was knighted.
It obviously is named after a person whose last name was Lovibond. But
he wasn't knighted.
Other than that, I can't.
You just don't hear that last name anymore. You know?
No, it's really out of fashion.
They really got away from it. First grade was real tough for a lot of kids. They got away from it.
They're like, I'm changing my name. Well, G-hole, good job out there.
Really, at this point,
with one
you're
right
winning by attrition.
I mean,
all right, true or false? Caramel malts and crystal malts are the same.
No.
Oh, this could really upset the game.
Yes.
Shit. Now I'm nervous.
Down to the final question.
Before we talk about this, can we just see real quick? No, it's fine. It's fine.
We can.
No, don't. I don't want to know. So with the previous conversation of talking about drying things in a kiln or a barrel, a lot of people use these two terms interchangeably, crystal malts and caramel malts. They are actually technically different because they are based off of how much of that actual malt reaches a certain level of purity. So typically your caramel malts are actually more of that mixed variety bag. There's a certain percentage of actual crystal malts within that profile, but it's not 100%. So crystal malts are a little more specific. They do use them pretty interchangeably though, because caramel malts are used in a much larger scale within production brewing versus small batch brewing. Because you can be with most of your pale ales and stuff like that, you can use that mixed variety like that with a small percentage of pure crystal malts, and it's way easier to predict what's going to happen with it and to keep it consistent. So most of the time your production breweries are going to say this, it's a caramel malt that we use. A lot of the packaging even says that, but crystal malts are actually a separate thing.
I've got two questions.
I hopefully have two answers.
Caramel or caramel? Which ones do you guys say?
I've said both. So really, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It depends on where you were born and raised.
I think it's caramel, maybe. I don't know. How do I say it?
Yeah,
I think
you start questioning how you even say it. I say caramel.
I would say caramel as well. But every time I read it, then I start saying it differently.
Well, caramel, it doesn't know.
There's a lot of people that say it that way.
Because I got an A in it. It's caramel.
All right. I'm glad I had an answer for the first question. What was the second question?
The second question is it called? No, and I almost said caramel. I almost went against everything I say. Is it a caramel malt because of the coloring or the flavoring?
Most of it has to do with the coloring.
That Lovibond scale.
That Lovibond scale comes into play with most of these.
Sir Lovibond.
Don't get me wrong. You can get a certain amount of flavoring out of these malt profiles as well, but that's generally done by people building malt profiles, not just like we did this whole beer with this malt and it's going to turn out with like caramel flavoring and shit like that. It's never going to happen.
He said caramel.
I'm done thinking about how I'm going to say the word. I'm just going to say it. No one got third, which is my favorite.
Ghost on third.
G-hole fucking blew it on the last question.
Malt, not
meth. Coming in strong.
Coming in strong for the feathers.
Last question. Man.
I love it.
Good for you.
It's always exciting when somebody wins on the last question.
This is true. Sucks when you lose in the last question, though. We've been there. multiple times. Yeah.
Nope, never.
Trivia
Yeah,
like
no, I
a
don't
month
think
ago.
that's right.
Yeah.
I don't think so at all.
I'm still a little salty about it. It's totally fine. Totally fine.
I forgot to mention this earlier too, Phil. Sorry, when we were talking. We are going to visit a friend of ours this weekend.
Yes,
Yes,
you are.
And-
Are you coming?
No.
No.
Oh,
But-
I don't know. You sounded
Weird.
like you. It's fine. Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too, though. Not only to see our friend that we've known for a long time, but they're going to be doing it at Lost Barrel Brewing,
Okay.
up in Northern Virginia. The venue looks really cool. I think they won some GABF awards last year for some of their beers, which is kind of cool to be on a huge scale like that in Northern Virginia and be able to pick some medals out of there. So I'm excited for it. I'll be sending you a lot of bathroom pictures because the bathroom looks cool as hell.
That's all I want.
Yep.
Just toilet shots.
I review bathrooms as a side internet gig if you're ever interested.
And make sure to stuff Tiffany's pockets with business cards and give her 2 drinks.
And a Sharpie. Don't forget a Sharpie because she's obviously signing shit for some reason.
Sign a few beers.
I do that. I have done that. Yeah.
I also noticed that this past weekend, you two were at the 5th anniversary of a brewery.
Yeah.
And Vero and I were at a 40th anniversary of a brewery.
God, yeah,
So
we did do some anniversary shit
Look at
this
us.
weekend, didn't we?
Beer showing it up.
Ours was a local one. Our good friends at Elation had their 5th year anniversary. You guys went to a massive anniversary, though. I mean,
we went to the Sam Adams brewery for their 40th, and it was great because while they're like this huge brewery, when you're there, Gabriel was there with us.
Nice.
When you're at the brewery, it doesn't feel like a mass-produced brewery. Like it's still got this like local Boston vibe about it, which I think is really cool. And then we got to try a few beers we didn't even know what they were yet, like take some surveys. So there's like some beers that they were just kind of messing around with and testing. And that was really cool, except all the ones that they were testing had a real candy vibe about them. I did not enjoy. But
I mean, it's kind of the market, but yeah, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was really good. It was my first day back in the States, and go right to Sam Adams Brewery for their 40th was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet. And it did. I think you're absolutely right. Like even just in the video that you posted up on our Instagram, it did feel like that. Like it didn't feel like you were in like a, huge, massive brewery that was like roped off and glassed off. It kind of just seemed like you were hanging out.
Yeah, it felt like any other brewery you go into. You just hang out, and we had a great time. So, and I can't believe that brewery's 40 years old. So,
yeah, that is pretty crazy, actually. I mean, I knew they were obviously old in the game, but yeah, I didn't think 40 years either, to be honest with you.
I thought it was older.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't really pay attention. So,
checks out.
As I open another beer.
That's fine. What are you opening? I can't even tell what that is.
It's a Hefeweizen.
Aha. All right.
Where's it from?
Germany.
Well, I could have told you that just based off the size of the bottle. It's not an American beer.
I'm just really small.
Yeah. This is a 12-ounce bottle, actually. Good Lord.
Side note, in the
this is what it looks like me giving Jason Momoa a hand job. Just a lot. I got small hands.
No, okay. So in the commercial where Jason Momoa has a like cup of Guinness, it looks really small, and I was like, "That's a normal size Guinness, and that's a really large cup."
Hey, he directed the thing. He could have shot it with a tiny little Guinness to
I'm
give
just
himself
saying,
perspective.
I think he's just
That's
a
how we
big.
shoot everything.
That's how I shoot everything.
I forgot another cup.
You can count on
This
that.
is gonna have to go.
That's why Momoa is only doing green screen movies now, because they can just make him look bigger. He's really like 4'6".
Exactly, Chad. Now you got to rewatch Aquaman. He's not. Everything in there is like the people from The Wizard of Oz, really. But
yeah,
angles. What? Now that you're back in the States, is there a beer you weren't able to get with regularity, even if it's like a highly produced beer or something that you're excited just to be able to go and get whenever you want?
You know, there isn't. I think what I loved prior to going was like I'm the type who like goes into a place and then checks Untappd to see what I haven't had yet.
Yep.
And gets mad when I'm like, I won't check Untappd first. I don't think I've had that one, and then I check, and you're like, of course.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
There's like 40 beers on this list, and I picked the one that I've obviously had before because I picked it because of its stupid name.
Right? Yeah, you did it. You did the same thing to yourself twice. You're like, I like this name.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad though when you go in and you've had everything that you know you're gonna like, because then you're like, do I get this?
I just want to check something in,
just to check it in, and that's
smoothie sour today. Like
right, exactly.
I've gotten to the point where I've just decided that no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'll just drink what I know.
I'd like to drink something I would like to enjoy because I don't need to be popping Tums.
I'm just excited to like go into a place and see how many beers there are again. You know, just because I haven't done that in so long. So that's going to be good. Hitting up a lot of breweries will be fun. So yeah, it's just nice to be back.
Yeah, and Craft and Carry is like a pretty large outfit of just random beer, right?
Yeah, they change up their taps all the time. They had a Prison Pals there today. They had, they've got a little bit of everything. So it's a great place to go and grab a beer. So it's pretty exciting.
I dig it. I'm actually having, you say like, or Tiffany was just talking about.
I'm gonna need to get a towel.
How we drink. Tiffany just overpoured her beer. It's gonna go everywhere. So she's gonna grab a towel. But we joke about going places and like we've had everything or we know what we're gonna like. VVC does a beer every year called Pearly's.
Oh,
it's an ESP. God, it's so good. And every time they come back out with it, we just go get 4 packs of it and keep it in the fridge because I'm like, man, I just need a beer that I know
so good.
Doesn't miss 5.7%, like gravy, easy drinking. Oh, yeah, you are going to miss the Rude Boys, though.
I didn't even bring any back.
I don't know about the Desperados. I don't.
The Rude Boys malt wine, I think, is what I'm really going to miss. Yeah, we got some stuff coming up. Pretty exciting. We the second to last day I was there. Took a tour of SXM Beer, which is the beer that's brewed in St. Martin. And they're going to come on the show.
Very good.
So we shot I went in there to shoot some video. They do a tour of their brewery. So they do brewery tours. So I went in there, took the tour, filmed a bunch of stuff. That's going to be coming out on our YouTube channel soon. And then the guy who runs the tour there, he wants to come on the show and kind of talk to us about the tour and what it's like brewing in St. Martin.
Very cool. Yeah.
It's awesome.
So yeah, they brew in St. Martin and they also brew in Florida because the owner is from Florida. So he has a place in Florida that brews for them to kind of like, because they can't keep up with the full demand. They exploded really fast. So
that's a good problem, but still a problem.
Yeah. But so I did the brewery tour there. So that video will come out soon. And then we'll have them on right after.
Nice.
And I did bring you both those beers. So
all right. Thank you. Yeah. Now he speaks English.
Would you say?
No.
I don't know where the Caribbean is.
He was on the Dutch side of the island, so
they wear wooden shoes. That doesn't tell me what language they speak.
Speaking of funny last names, when the Dutch were colonized initially and they were asking for what their last names were, they did not have last names.
Okay.
So they kind of like made things up, and they are absolutely ridiculous.
You have an example of one?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, great story.
Hold on.
Yeah. What we should probably do something tonight that we haven't done in a while.
Oh, so, we probably could. We got the time.
Think about it.
Yeah.
God,
all right. I love that intro. It's funny. Before you even came into the show, like when I'd already logged in, I was just going through all of our like clips, and I was like, I love that piece, and I'm just playing them. Like no one's in the room.
I did hear them. I was in the other room and I was like, all right.
Okay. All right. Before we get started, Tiffany has a Dutch example of a made-up name.
No, they just like one is the short, one is the tall, one is the Pope. They have the king, emperor. Like they just were like, yeah, whatever, and they stuck.
And they went with the tall. Somebody got to pick whatever they wanted their name to be, and they went with the tall.
I mean, yeah, this other one went with the young.
I'd have gone with like, never mind, not important. This is the portion of the show where we take a second to reflect on something in our lives that we wish was actually beer versus what it really is. Kind of the original idea of the Wish You Were Beer show, if you will. So that being said, Tiffany thinks about this stuff all week. I'm gonna let her go first.
Yeah. So the thing that I wish was beer is my ear needs to pop right now because I've been sick. I usually don't sound quite this raspy. I'm not a cigarette smoker, but I sound like it anyway. So yeah, I kind of wish I was recovered so I could enjoy my life like I would enjoy a beer. And also this ear is really driving me batshit crazy. And it'd be great if it was a beer instead. I have a beer and it's not helping. So maybe if I had 2 beers because the ear wasn't there.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. This
Maybe.
is actually my second beer.
Maybe if I had 3 beers, things wouldn't feel. Yeah, that's the goal.
So yeah, I'm just over here trying to get this to pop. It's fine. Or drain, rather.
Daniel, you got one?
I do. It's a little convoluted, and I apologize. And Chad already mentioned it in the comment section there. A good friend of ours is turning 40 this weekend. I wish his birthday party were beer because I can watch the Duke North Carolina game and drink a beer. But at this birthday party, I'm only going to be drinking a beer while the biggest rivalry in sports is happening. It's fine. Everybody's fine. I'm happy to get to see my friend on his 40th birthday. And
it's also our 6-month wedding anniversary. So it's really a party for us.
There's a lot of shit going on right on the day that Duke plays North Carolina.
Married people count 6 months? Is that
nope. No, I texted about it today and I was like, oh, guess what?
No.
Because I did the math.
There's a chance we won't count at all. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
We'll see if you get to 1 first. And then
that's important. Yeah, let's get there. You're right. Maybe that's why we're celebrating small increments.
Just in case.
Just in case this dumpster fire really takes off.
Yeah.
What do you got, Phil?
I wish that Jason Momoa was beer because I'd crack that bitch right open. That's it.
That's it.
Proud of you.
I'm gonna find this man's actual PR representative and send him this episode and like, come on, man.
Yeah. Like no one's talking about you, but now suddenly everyone is.
Yeah. You were like a nobody and now look at you.
Yeah.
But 45 minutes of us mentioning you and holy shit, you're an Aquaman.
Yeah.
I don't know chicken or the egg, which came first, but
yeah, no one's gonna be able to do that math. It's not even possible.
All right. Are we doing this again next week or is this the last show?
This is potentially the last show. It depends on if Jason Momoa gets back to me.
Or if we get divorced. We don't know. We might get divorced next week.
No, we will be back next Thursday, as always, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, we are going to be doing different malt styles this month. So if you have a malt you want to talk about or something that makes you excited about malt that's not liquor, shoot us a message, let us know. But other than that, again, we do this show every Thursday night. We always appreciate everybody stopping by.
Yes.
Play along with our socials. Come find us anywhere you can get us. Check out the website, buy some merch. Other than that, we're going to roll this outro where I think you can still hear us. And I don't know why we haven't changed that yet.
Because I think it's fun.
No, it cuts out.
It does.
Yeah, no, I changed it. This time it will cut out. I changed it.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Then
Right.
show over. See you next Thursday.
Say whatever you want when this cuts out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
Got it.
See you guys next week.
Jason Momoa did watch this and then contacted us, I would lose my fucking shit. I just need you to know that. He might be on my list. I don't even have a list, but he might be on my list.
He's
Everyone's
all 5. It's just
He's
him.
all,
5
well, he
times.
can't be just one. He's too tall.
He's on your list though too.